Come down to the front maybe, and then we'll work our way back.
It's related to this not wanting to ask too much, but also like sometimes I get a feeling like don't be too needy.
Yeah.
Like want to. Like, is it possible to be too desirous for God? Like a parent, like, all right, stop, get enough now, enough, go away.
Yeah. Don't confuse neediness with desire. So yes, any neediness is too needy. Does that make sense?
The line is kind of blurred.
Yeah. Most people don't understand the difference between desire and need. Yeah? But let me sort of maybe try to show you the difference for a bit. Right? So fundamentally, I might just grab those. There they are. Okay, fundamentally, if we compare need and desire, right? What's you could say the hallmarks or the characteristics, the attributes of need versus desire? What do you reckon?
If you don't get a need, you'll be upset or angry.
Okay, so with need, there is really a demand, and when the demand is not met, it results in, or results in, you said bad feelings, results in, what do you mean by bad feelings? Like, I'm not worth it. I'm not worth it. In other words, it's still an angry rage, isn't it? Hopeless, yeah, hopeless. All right, so need results in that. What does desire result in?
Like you're happy if you get it, but if you don't get it, it's no problem.
Well, when you say there's no problem,
yeah, maybe just.
A person with desire knows that when they don't get what they desire, it's because their desire was a problem. The way you conceive God is very negatively at the moment, most of you, right? You sort of conceive God as a person who doesn't want to give you gifts.
Well, you got to earn it anyway.
You got to earn it. You got to be good to get it. In the Paget messages, you'll see there are some messages that talk about that. This whole concept of moral goodness is the way you get God to recognise you. Right? Not true. Right? But the concept most of us have is, I earn it and then I get it. You understand? Which is actually, again, on this column, really, it's not desire yet, right? Because when you recognise something as a gift, you realise you can't earn it. Like, most of you are taught from childhood, 2 years old, Daddy and Mummy say to you, Christmas time, if you've been a good girl, you'll get a good gift from Santa, right? But if you've been a naughty girl, I'm not sure whether Santa's going to give you anything now, right? Isn't that true? Yeah, and many of you have been brought up in that kind of a household where we believe in Christmas and everything. I wasn't, but many of you have been. And so you see this pattern coming out all the time where we believe that we earned the gift. So therefore, in our own psyche, we're not really treating anything as a gift. We're treating it as, well, I earned it and I deserve it as my payment for what I sacrificed in order to earn it. That's how we sort of see it. Right? That's not desire either. Right? So a person who has desire knows that if I'm not receiving from God, it's because my desire is flawed. not for any other reason, because God wants to give you what you desire as long as it's harmonious with love. Right? He wants to give you gifts. He's a parent who cares about every child and wants to make every child happy. Right? So God's not the kind of parent who goes, well, you're not as good as your brother. So unless you're like your brother, you're not getting what your brother gets. It's not like that either. God's desirous of giving you the same gifts as your brother. I'm your brother. God wants to give you the same gifts that God's given me. Right? So we know then that if I am not receiving the things that I desire, then there's something wrong with my desire. Either my desire is not harmonious with love, right? Or I don't have a desire at all. I instead have a need. So how many of you would like to have your soulmate in your life? Absolute rubbish. Like you're lying to yourselves. When you have a pure desire to have your soulmate in your life, you're going to have them in your life. And I'm not saying that frivolously either. It's a fact. You've got to have a pure desire to have your soulmate in your life. To have your soulmate in your life. Huh? So but most of you have just expressed your need.
Neediness. That's kind of neediness, that column,
Yeah.
isn't it? Yeah.
Your neediness is saying, I would really like a soulmate in my life. Why? Why do you want your soulmate in your life at the moment? For many of you, it's because you're lonely. Right? Well, that's an injury. So that's not a good ways of why God should show you who your soulmate is. What a terrible injury to perpetrate against the other half of yourself. That you're lonely and they're going to make your loneliness go away. Like, don't you want to be more than that in a relationship where you're not lonely and you just want to give gifts? Wouldn't that be better? Well, it'd certainly be more loving, wouldn't it? But most of us go, but I'm lonely. Where's my soulmate? And many of us, when we talk about soulmates, go, I don't know about this soulmate crap. Right? Because I want my soulmate for the last 40 years and I still don't have them. No, you've been needy for your soulmate for 40 years. And not even for your soulmate. It's actually been for someone who just meets your addictions. You know? If you were desirous of your soulmate, you would have met them by now. The law works perfectly. And this is the thing we don't understand about God either, is the laws that God created work perfectly, giving us the very thing that we actually desire in our heart. So let's look at that. Every relationship I've had up to now has been very heartbreaking. What does that tell me? It tells me that I've got a lot of sadness about relationships to fill, and I keep attracting a heartbreaking relationship in order to fill them. It means that I've not healed my childhood, quite obviously. Because once I do, I won't find a relationship heartbreaking anymore. And then you say, every relationship. Well, why have I had more than one? In the first century, I only had one. And I never had a relationship until I had one. I was completely knew that the other half of me was out there somewhere, and that's the one I want a relationship with. And I was prepared. I waited and waited and waited. And when I say waited, I didn't wait. I engaged my passions, my desires. I got to know myself. I got to figure myself out. I got to be a more loving person. I wanted to bring gifts into our relationship. I wanted to give Mary the gift of myself in a most perfect state I could. Does that make sense? Yeah? Where I'm interested in her, desirous of her, longing for her but not demanding of her. Right? I want to be that person that I would like her to be. That's ethical, isn't it? So that's what I decided. I am going to become and be the person God created me to be. I'm going to get to know who that is. I'm going to be that person. It was after I was that person that I met Mary. In the first century.
And now.
And now. Yeah, I made the same decision now. Before I met Mary. Probably 10, nearly 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 years before I met Mary. Made that decision. A person who loves desires to give the gift of their love, not to receive it from others. Receiving it from others is just like, well, if they want to give it, then that'd be lovely. It's just lovely. When people want to love you, it's beautiful. But if I demand it, no longer am I seeing it as love anymore. I'm demanding it, and therefore I'm in a state where I'm no longer truly desirous of love. I'm now desirous of addictions being met, my demands being met. Right? This is a fundamental principle of love, guys, to come to grasp and understand. So, here I am in my neediness, which is really my demand. When it's met, I go, oh, I'm in love with this person. Right? When it's not met, what a bastard. You know what I mean? That's the way we think, frequently, isn't it? And so we're fundamentally not seeing that a person giving us their love is a gift and not something that I can on any level demand or expect. It is something that is it's their heart being expressed for me, which needs to come from their heart without any manipulation from me. Right? And so there's a big difference between desire, which does not demand. So it's not demanding, you could say. So it's not that. Right? And it's not that when it's not met. It doesn't feel hopeless or rage when it's not met. Not that. So what is it? We still haven't said what it is. Can you see, sometimes it's easier to talk about what it isn't than what it is. Well, I wouldn't call it hope, no. So hope was mentioned. No. Hope is a very pointless emotion. I'm sure many of you have realised that by now. Hope is a pointless emotion. And the reason why hope is a pointless emotion is because you can hope for things that are not real. And you're never going to have them. So, if you hope that one day you're going to be able to walk through walls in your physical body, it's never going to happen. So your hope is always not going to be fulfilled. If you hope that one day you'll be able to breathe like 10 kilometres underwater, I'm sorry, but your hope's never going to be fulfilled. In your spirit body, you can fulfill that hope, but not in the physical one. It's impossible. You'll be crushed to death at that depth in the water by the atmosphere and pressure. It's not going to ever be fulfilled. You will exceed your design limit, so it's impossible to fulfill it. So be careful of hope, because hope causes you to hope for things that are not real. You firstly have to determine what is real, and then you can desire them. So we still haven't worked out what desire is. No, microphone, thank you. Yeah. Otherwise we don't hear anything.
like faith that it will happen?
Well, certainly desire and faith are very intertwined, aren't they? Faith, you can say in a way, desire is the expression of your faith. What you have faith in for your future, you will desire and you will work towards it. Does that make sense? So you have to sort of believe that it's possible before you'll exercise desire to achieve it. So the two are very linked with each other, but they're not the same thing. One is the working out what is possible, which is the faith, the possibilities for my future. When you see the possibilities as a reality, now that'll motivate your desire, right? So faith is the seeing the future possibilities as a current reality. And then once you have that kind of faith, you will be motivated to exercise desire to achieve that one way or the other. So we still haven't defined desire.
Can anyone help? Yeah, if we come down to Daniela here. Because this is the guts of prayer, isn't it? Desire.
Yeah.
So.
Desire almost gives joy right away, like just seeing the thing that's desired. It has.
Well, now we're talking
feeling,
about desire fulfilled.
but there is some joy in desiring. It's some positive already, like.
Well, certainly there can be joy in desire, but desire isn't joy.
Okay.
It's a completely different quality. You think of Anton for a moment, who we just talked to. Initially he was saying, he was trying to pray, he was using his mind, he was struggling, he was asking God, look, big guy, if you exist, can you help me out? That kind of thing. And he was being quite sincere in his own mind about that. But what was lacking?
Direction.
No?
Maybe, go next to you, maybe.
Maybe humility.
True, but not. He was a pretty humble guy. He was pretty open to having the experience when the experience began. So he's pretty humble. So I don't know if it's just that. We go behind. Maybe go next week. Yeah.
I would say seeking.
All right. So there was a seeking, but in terms of Anton, what caused him to seek? See, before then he was not. He didn't feel like he deserved to have anything from God, did he? What caused him to seek for it? Remember, I sort of flipped it over on him and said, imagine now you're the son and you've got a dad who can give you things and who wants to give you things and wants to educate you.
I would say it's realizing that something is missing.
So he realised something was missing, and then what happened?
And he started to long for it, to seek it.
Yeah?
If we maybe go to Eric next to you.
Yeah.
He was open to receive it.
He became open, but that's a part, his desire caused him to be open. So that's an effect of desire.
If we pass behind you, Eric.
Wanting, believing, and seeking combined.
What was that, sorry? Wanting?
Wanting, believing that it might happen, and seeking for
Wanting,
direction.
believing and seeking.
Yeah. Well, remember yesterday we did write down seeking in the longing section, didn't we? We did write that word down as a part of longing, is seeking for something. But seeking is very different than demanding it, isn't it? Seeking is like, what do you do when you seek? So if I said, out the backyard over there, behind the auditorium, there's $1 million in gold buried. If any of you believed me, because you'd have to first believe me, wouldn't you? But once you believed me and you thought, maybe it is there, what would you do? I bet you anything you like. Many of you would be out there with your hands and knees and digging it with your hands in the soil. And then when that didn't work, you'd be rushing off to the nearest shop to buy spades and shovels, and those of you a bit more clever, maybe an excavator. And then you'd be out the back digging up the whole yard, wouldn't you? So the whole place would be destroyed by inaction until you found that thing. Is that not true?
So it's putting an effort in it and accepting directions and help.
Sorry, I didn't really.
Putting effort into it and
Yes.
accepting direction to help.
Yes, but the effort is driven by what? Firstly, faith, that it's real, the thing is real, that has to be a part of it. So we said faith is linked to desire, certainly, but the faith has to be strong enough to drive you into action. So desire is the active force of your soul to achieve. Do you understand? To get something, to obtain something.
So first of all, you have to want it.
Well, there's a number of things that have to happen before desire can be created. You have to first want it. In other words, you have to have faith that it's even possible. But once you have faith that something is possible, and you really, really believe in your whole being it's possible, you will then take an action to obtain. That's desire, the action to obtain. Now, the beautiful thing about desire is that it opens up your heart to then obtain. So it opens your heart to seeking, but it also opens your heart to being sensitive to when you get it, the rewarding feeling of having obtained it.
It's like, you guys remember high school, don't you? A lot of people were very annoyed in high school, weren't they? You know, and if you sat in maths class in high school, how many people were actually paying attention? You know, a lot of people were just like, when is this over? How many of them learnt very much maths? Hardly any. And then, I don't know if you were ever in a class with someone who loved maths. They would be asking questions, trying it out, and then you can feel...
And you'd go, shut up, and other people would.
Tease them.
Yeah.
But that person knew when they got it. When they solved that sum, they're like, yes, I got it, you know.
There's the completion of the achievement or the completion of what you've obtained.
So, and there's that sensitivity you were talking about when you obtain it.
How good is it?
Yeah.
That's when you
It's
get
like
the joy.
wow, you know. So that whole action of the seeking and the taking action to obtain, the asking, staying engaged, all of those things, and then you feel it when you receive it.
So can you see with the discussion I had with Anton, firstly what I was trying to do is build his faith that he was worthy to receive it, right? But then I also, by flipping over him being the child, I changed his mind about what his role was. Because he's always viewed himself in a parental role. Do you understand what I mean by that? He's always viewed himself, he's either looking after himself or he's looking after his kids. In other words, he's always seen himself in a parental role. He's always seen himself as the person doing the providing, right? Not as the person who could seek something outside, you know, and somebody else provide. He didn't see that. This is all things, the discussion helps him have some faith. Once the faith begins to be expressed, you know, when I talked about God being daddy, and most of you don't think of God being daddy or mummy. You think of God being God. Right? God. Whatever that is, right? Some big monster, God, is really how many of you see God. Right? Very hard to then develop faith or even want that monster to be a part of your own life when you see God this way. But when you start seeing God as your older father, mother, who can guide you, help you, assist you, educate you, then you start to sort of think, well, all I need to do is express the desire. The desire is driven by the faith that God will provide what I desire as long as that desire is pure, as long as it's harmonious with love and truth. And as long as that desire is harmonious with God's other principles, God's laws, I will receive. Right? And once you develop that kind of faith, and that faith at the beginning is very hard because you have no concept that that is even real initially. But after you develop the faith and you receive, so now that Anton has received once, should we ask him to come back and see what he feels about it now? You want to do that? Because he had a conversation with some friends and felt some feelings now. So let's do that. Lovely to have you back. Sorry to bother you again. Now we're bothering you. And just for the sake of our audience here, Anton, I would like you to sort of describe what you felt like when you received the thing, when you received love.
Overwhelmed, you mean?
Yeah, you felt overwhelmed.
Yeah. Surprised in many ways.
Yeah.
About the nature of the love.
Yeah, that it was so kind.
Yeah.
And considerate of you.
And personal.
Yeah.
And that it was so there was just a lot of gentleness involved.
Yeah.
And also that it was very personal.
Interested in you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I felt very loved, not just because of just being loved. I felt me inside was being loved. It was very personal to me. It was.
So it's sort of your nature and your personality being loved, not just the being you that tried hard.
Yes.
Yeah.
The knowledge of me. There was knowledge of me in love.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even in my sin, there was knowledge of that also.
Yeah. And now that you compare what you had before when we were praying and not receiving, can you feel the difference between that and desire? So when we had that conversation about God being your dad.
Yeah. It felt a lot more, well, similar to what you were saying, that I needed to be a child in that I could be a child.
Yeah.
Gave me permission to sort of
to no longer be the parent looking after other people all the time.
Yes, and to not have to understand everything before I did something.
Yeah.
Before I asked.
Yeah.
And to not have to get it right by some sort of standard.
Yeah.
I just had to open my heart and ask.
Yeah.
With it's.
And it was really, wasn't it, this feeling that you had that you wanted a daddy who was interested in you?
Yeah, but not in a needy way.
No, not in a needy way. You just wanted to know whether daddy was interested in you.
Yes, I don't know if I wanted a daddy who was interested in me. I wanted to know if there was
a daddy who was interested in me. Yeah. But that began with the concept that maybe there is a dad who's interested in you.
Yes.
And this is what we're talking about with the group here is faith is like the concept that you then start believing might be possible to the point where you're willing to then exercise a desire to take action to lead you to that possibility.
Yes. Yeah. And it was quite simple, a lot more simple than I thought.
Yeah.
But yes, and I feel having felt that feeling of what that more, I guess, like you said, I felt like I had to provide all the time. So in that, it means I sort of have to sort things out and figure things out all the time and be conscious of everything all the time.
Yeah.
And
be the responsible person all the time.
Yes, and that seeking place, it feels like I don't have to have all of that sorted out all of the time. Yeah. In fact, it was me trying to sort it all out before that made it not work.
Yeah.
It was more innocent this more that I open myself for something to be provided, like you said, from outside of myself.
Yeah, yeah. Mm. It's hard describing something after the fact as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. It's like trying to put into words emotions. It's like reduces the impact of the emotions.
Mm. Yeah, there's no words really.
No.
Well, I'm not a words man.
No, I understand. I'm often confused about what words to use. Because it's sort of like, sometimes the more words you use, the more intellectual everybody becomes, and then it becomes further away from the goal you're trying to achieve.
I think it might help everyone to think about a time of childhood seeking or childlike seeking on any matter, because that is the nearest estimation I can make of the feeling without being too wordy.
Yeah, and I agree. Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Vicky. Yeah, so it's hard, isn't it? Because the intellect is saying, I want to understand more, I want to understand more. When actually the feelings understand a lot better. But unfortunately, most of us are quite disconnected from our feelings. And so a lot of times when I'm talking to spirits, what I'm trying to do is reconnect them to their life and their experience and their feelings. And a lot of times when I'm trying to talk to you, I'm just trying to do the same. Reconnect you with your life, your experience and your feelings. And also then to help you see you can have faith. But once you have real faith, you will take action based on where the desire leads you. Right? So that you could say the desire is the driving motivation to fulfill your faith.
And could you say, just trying to also put words to the feeling that Anton was showing me.
Yeah.
You know, that curiosity can lead us to a state of faith.
Yes.
It's the curiosity that opens us to the first experience.
Yeah, there's many things that lead us to faith.
Yeah.
Curiosity is one of those things. Yeah. Just you think about a child who doesn't know much at all, and any of you who have been fathers or mothers